right, guys, we're back live racing in an American iRacing League Series with the late model. They're already off to action. Sorry about the delay. We got Parker Retzlaff out front, and Ryan Matthews will once again your starting row. This time they don't wreck in turn 4 on the first lap. They go single file really quickly here. A little bit smarter than the last race. We already got 3 laps down in this 60-lap feature event. This is the Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190. Got to give a shout out to one of our drivers earlier in the night was Joel Smith. Great kid. He's a 2-time state champ of Michigan Bandoleros, also a Bandolero Nationals East champion and a Oregon Oil Speedway track champion. His real-life racing series is the Bandolero Bandits, and his current focus on iRacing is the Legends Car Series. He's one of our favorites, and that's who Mike Hess Racing was all about. That is Joel Smith's grandfather we're honoring tonight as a wreck on the backstretch there. The 14 car into the inside fence there. Doesn't look too bad. He doesn't have any smoke or radiator blowing up as the Team 126 Racing caution comes out. As we were saying, Mike Hess is the grandfather of Joel Smith. His favorite activity was watching his grandsons, Joel and Jake. Gotta love that we're honoring Mike Hess tonight with the memorial race. Is a little tag in the wall by the 67 machine, sends to 14 and the 09 getting together, and a 14 ultimately into the inside wall. 14 car torn up a little bit, but he survives it to run another lap here. He'll probably come down and work on that machine. Luckily, cosmetic damage doesn't hurt too bad on these cars. I will say that may affect the heating of that motor, or the cooling of the motor, I should say. As we still have Parker Retzlaff sitting out front, followed by Ryan Matthews and last week's winner, Trayton Lapcevich, in that 32 car. He made the bump on Matthews last week to win on the last lap. It was a heck of a race in that Reaper Speed Labs car. He ends up getting that victory, and Matthews finished third. It was a lot of fun to watch. These 3 guys up front have quite the accolades in the real racing world. Trayton is actually from the Canadian area, has run races all over the country there. Got Jackson Crowder, who won our first race. He's back there in 6th now. Last race, he talked about that high side, not where you want to be on these restarts as we get ready to go back green flag racing here. Parker Retzlaff, your point right there on the point here, taking a green flag in the restart zone. Parker Retzlaff and Matthews door to door in the 1. Matthews holding tight on that right rear quarter panel up off the 2, is going to squeeze in, trying to squeeze in behind him, and Matthews back down to the bottom as they're racing for 3rd behind him. 3rd place, Brandon Queen running hard on the bottom, trying to get back below, actually working on the top 4 position. Holmes now falls back to 5th. The field gets strung out single file quickly here at Southern National, and nobody likes that high line. Nobody wants to be there. As right now, that 67 machine peaks to the inside of Brandon Queen. Queen gives him the room, but Queen gets a little sideways through 1 and 2. That's going to open the door to Jackson Crowder. He goes down to the bottom of that 03 machine. 03 machine trying to hold tight here. He's trying to squeeze. He doesn't quite make it. Gets turned. Crowder turns Queen. Butterbean Queen around he goes. Luckily, nobody into the door of that 03 machine. The old school gaming car there. Torn up early. He'll have to be coming from the back as we get another Team 126 Racing caution. As we were watching live, Jackson Crowder, he was there. Queen tried to squeeze the door, but there was no room. There was just no room, as we see from the Team 126 replay. Queen gets back going, stays on the lead lap. We'll get back with our leaders here, Parker Retzlaff and Ryan Matthews, running so far out front. We'll get some details on them drivers. They've been a big part of this American iRacing League series. They've won several races combined. I can't imagine to add up to 2 wins combined between Parker Retzlaff. I'd imagine this field altogether has well over 2,000 wins. The I rating is through the roof. If you add it up for the division, it's well over 4,000. Right now in our field, we'll do a little rundown. We got Parker Retzlaff in the lead, Ryan Matthews following in 2nd, Trayton Lapcevich in 3rd, Timmy Holmes in 4th, Jackson Crowder 5th, 6th, Dustin Momberquet, then 7th, Sean Leisure, 8th, Caleb Meyer, 9th, Cody Moorcroft, 10th, Brandon Massman, 11th, Brandon Gagnon, our own Brandon Gagnon, trying to run up in this late model race again. He's sitting in 11th. Then Caleb Hull in 12th, Ryan Polens in 13th. Brendan Queen, after getting tangled up, is Meyer back in 14th. The race director actually decided Jackson Crowder is going to be sent to the back for that incident, so he's going to be starting at the tail end of this 16-car field. Daniel Folds there in the middle in 15th. I'd imagine there's not too many hard feelings. We're going to get called up with Brandon Gagnon. He just entered the room. We got to ask him. He's sitting in 11th. Did you fare out well on that one, Brandon, or you get tied up in anything?
I just barely got you because, of course, my Discord's not turned up. But it's been crazy. You got to hug that low line. You get put up high. There's nowhere to go. But I'm expecting a few more yellows with some good racing. Here we go, boys.
All right, brother, good luck. We're going back green flag here. Parker Retzlaff leads the way. Matthews holding tight on that outside door, and they go green well before the restart zone. Luckily for them, there's no rules on restart zones other than make sure the pace car's got 4 tires off the racing service. Right now, Retzlaff pushing his way to the front, trying to hold them off and continue to lead every lap of this race. This time, Matthews not going to be able to get down. Lapsevich peeks in that 32 Reaper Speed Labs machine. Lapsevich, hard to compete with. He's moving up into that second position. He's going to set sail, try to get Parker Retzlaff here. Retzlaff into 1. He's got about a 5-car length advantage over Drayton Lapsevich. And after that, it's stacked up all the way through the top 10 positions, going bumper to bumper. Any little mistake can get you tangled up and out of this racing groove, or even worse, in the fence. Lapsevich continues to try to run down that top leader. It looks like a snake all the way through the field, like they're drafting at Daytona or something. Right now, Gagnon back there in the 12th position as Crowder passes him and Queen gets by him. Gagnon just falls back in that ComServe Wireless 83 machine. Queen working there. Queen and Crowder working together to get back through the field after they got together. It seems as though they buried a hatchet, and they're going to work together to get by some of these fast guys. If I'm Gagnon, I'd try to stay behind that 03 machine. He's been around this Southern National Motorsports Park several times. If he follows him, he'll be back up front quick. Right now, Crowder working on the 14 machine of Caleb Hall. Hall shuts the door, but Crowder tags that left rear just a little bit. He better watch. He's got Queen back to the rear bumper once again. Last time the rolls were the other way around. I'm sure Queen not too happy with what happened with Jackson Crowder earlier. He may not be so patient as he's right to the back bumper. We're going to keep an eye on this as they tag each other once again. Queen goes to the inside, makes a smart move, and stays out of the inside lane, giving Crowder the space. He tags Crowder once again as we ride on board the old school gaming car. Queen trying to follow through here as Caleb Hall pushes up the racetrack. Jackson Crowder down to the inside. They're door-to-door in a 3. You can see just how tight the racing action here is at Southern National. A little bit more forgiveness in these cars versus the Legends. They're able to touch a little bit more, but still you got to be careful. And as I say that, the 14 tags the outside wall. Now the 03 into the left rear. I'm going to be curious as the yellow flag comes out how the race director seen that. How I see it, that 14 caught the wall and Queen had to do all the avoiding all the way down to turn 3. But we'll just have to see what the call was, see if Brendan Queen pays for that whatsoever. But you see coming off turn 2, 14 tags the wall, 03 there. Not much the 03 can do. We're going to rewind just a little bit. You can see the 03's trajectory is to the white line. And the 14, this is a great shot right here. Yeah, you can see the 14's nose was pointed right where he shouldn't be. So I'll be curious to see how race director calls that. Of course, we never agree with the race director, right? All of us racers know that, so we'll just have to see what's decided. Brandon, I see you fell in line there in the 12th position. You better get up on the wheel and follow Crowder back through the field.
I'm trying, man. These guys are so talented in these late models. This is my first year in a late model, normally in a truck or something different. So if I got a guy behind me, I'm giving him the room. I want to be respectful of these guys that are quicker and see good racing. But if guys do get sent to the rear, then at least we still gain a spot. So I'll take it either way we get it.
Definitely a talented division. Brandon's one of the best in iRacing. He's hunting for that 6K I rating. Not quite sure where you're at on that I rating thing. I know you're right on the edge of it trying to go road to pro. I got to say this, man, look out. My cousin's right on your back bumper. He's a Legends champion in real life, but I know you guys got in a little tag team action at Rockingham, so you better watch out. He's on your back bumper again.
Tag team, like at least in wrestling, you're on the same team. I feel like he keeps tapping my hand and sending me, but I love the guy. He's a good racer.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, he just likes to have fun on this iRacing service. He's, you know, a little new to this experienced field. He's got a lot of experience, but you know how it is. These guys are something else. We get ready to go back green. Good luck, Brandon. The 42 machine leading this field. Not quite a good start. Lapsevich actually is going to get the run here. He hammers the brakes. I think he had to give up that position as they get stacked up 3 wide for second. Now 3 wide for the lead. Axum in the middle. Lapsevich gets caught. Some big cars get together there. Somehow they saved it. Wow. Man, I didn't know who to call. They all got together there. And now Lapsevich caught behind another wrecking race car. Lapsevich goes from running the outside pole all the way back to the 10th position. And now they're wrecking again behind him. I believe that was our own Brandon Gagnon. And, of course, the commentator Jinx. My cousin Ryan Polens, they get together once again. I know the field was stacked up. I'm hoping it had nothing to do with them. Otherwise, we might not want to go back to Brandon Gagnon in that 83 car.
I'm alive. Fortunate that whoever it was behind me, if we check the replay, he completely dropped to the apron when people were checking up and didn't let off. But I might be able to meet him after the race and show him where the brake's at. We'll see.
There you go. Yeah, you had nowhere to go there. Looks like the 14 machine didn't realize they were stacking up in front of you and was using the wrong pedal. Tags that left rear to 83, causing that Team 126 Racing caution. But, of course, they're all competitors. They either are making mistakes, but we try to tell honest from the booth. We got our own Brandon Gagnon in the race. He's going to be honest because he's out there running with the guys. But I'm sure that was just a racing incident. Looked like they just got stacked up, a little accordion effect, and Caleb Hall with nowhere to go takes out Gagnon. And Ryan Polens doors the 83 machine. Doesn't look good for that 3 car. But after all that mess, Timmy Holmes, who we're talking to, I asked him, I said, you got a shot in the second one. What do you think? He said, yeah, he thinks he's got a shot to win it. And sure enough, he finds himself out front after Parker Retzlaff just went nowhere on that last restart. I believe we're getting ready to go back green flag right here as a little gamesmanship. Holmes taps the brakes and then goes. That sets Parker Retzlaff off the back bumper. I'm sure Parker's not too happy with the old brake check. Holmes trying to get back up into that, or trying to stay down low here and hold off Parker Retzlaff. After doing that little brake check, I'd be trying to get out of Dodge here as Retzlaff with a ton of damage on that 42 car. Really, the whole field's nicked up. Could be an oddball winner tonight from our regulars. But Retzlaff, and there's Jackson Crowder out of nowhere, up into the top 4. Ryan Matthews sitting quiet in that 5th position in the 51 machine. Doesn't look like he's got too much damage on that car. As once again, the Team 126 Racing caution flies here at Southern National Motorsports Park. We'll catch the Team 126 replay here in just a moment. We're here live on Swag TV. Got to thank our partners, ComServe Wireless, Studio Displays, Team 126 Racing, and Swag Wraps Online. Here we see we're just losing patience through the whole field. We're 3 wide again as Cody Moorcroft gets sent up the racetrack in that 80 Swag Wraps machine.
There's a saying for this, Dustin. You know what it is?
Well, we got Brandon in the back. That's right. That's right. I think my favorite comment ever when it comes to short track racing. Every time someone gets that little bumper, I think of Denny Hamlin when he threw a little slight at Joey Logano at Martinsville and said, you know, it's just short track racing. I love that comment. We were there live at Martinsville. I've never, I imagine that was probably second to when Joey actually got wrecked by Matt Kenseth. As loud as the crowd got when Denny said it's just short track racing, like Joey would say, that crowd went nuts. If we had a real crowd here at Southern National, I think they'd be going nuts. There's some crazy racing going on through the back. They get single file up front, but the back of the field says, I want to go, I want to get up front too, have a little piece of it. As now Timmy Holmes leads us back to the green flag. Parker Retzlaff this time on your outside row. Holmes smartly closes up that bottom lane, hoping Parker falls into that, clutches to the outside. But no, Parker Retzlaff gets down to the bottom. Jackson Crowder trying to do the same there, back in for third. Parker Retzlaff gets to the inside, sends Holmes up the racetrack. Now Retzlaff to the inside after contact, big contact. Thomas Axum, Jackson Crowder together, big wreck. Crowder into the outside fence. Man, sure glad it is virtual here. Mike Diaz would be pissed about that fence getting knocked out over at Southern National. But man, we're glad it's virtual. Nothing safer than these cars on iRacing, because that's Jackson Crowder was hanging there in a fence there at the end of that wreck. We'll see what happens. Looks like he right rears Thomas Axum. I doubt that was on purpose. Probably thought he was clear, similar to what I did to Queen. Fortunately, Queen saved the race car. This was real life. Tried to make that crossover, and he just was clear. That destroys nearly the whole field. I gotta ask Brandon.
Trucks in turn 2 or turn 3, please. Need some extra tow trucks.
Sure, man. Well, that's Brandon Gagnon there. I don't see him involved in the wreck. Brandon, did you get caught?
We got through it. P7, baby. Let's go.
There you go, buddy. You just stay in this thing. You got my cousin once again in your back bumper. You guys are in it. Do or die, man. His front bumper is underneath his cross member right now behind you. So, but that was from your door. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. Ryan Polens in that RAP Motorsports machine. That's a throwback that I made over at DPR Designs. It's something we made after his uncle Rich, who raced in the big block modifieds and the small block modifieds up at the Flemington Speedway. I'm loving these yellows. They're quick. We got 9 laps to go. We're stacking them up already. Gagnon and Polens try to stay tight up there in that top 8. We go back up front. Holmes and Retzlaff on your front row. I guess Retzlaff got the lead there late before that yellow. But Retzlaff misses again the restart zone as Holmes takes off on the outside, and they're gone. They got about 5 car lengths over third. Now Holmes swings it wide. He's going to try to do the crossover. He almost completes it. Tag's apron gets loose. We got 7 laps to go here. It's going to come down to this. It's Holmes and Retzlaff out front. Queen in third, and Lapsevich follows in suit. He's passing Queen for the 3rd position. They get together. Queen slides up the racetrack and falls back into the 4th position. Queen's machine is destroyed. Still running in the 4th spot. So is Trayton Lapsevich's 32 car. That Reaper Speed Labs car is starting to run down the leaders. Can never count out Trayton Lapsevich. He won last week. He's been consistent in this late model series, and he is our points leader thus far through the season. Now, got to remember, we get the top 3 guys interviewed after the race. Make sure you guys stick around on Swag TV. Make sure you hit the notification button and subscribe to Swag TV on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, whichever's your favorite network. We'll be there. But right now, Retzlaff running away with this thing. Make sure you catch up with the interviews. We're here. It's the Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190. We got 3 laps to go in a late model feature. It'll be followed by the Everything iRacing on Facebook 100 in the super late model. The field stretches out. Lapsevich happily in that 3rd position is running away from, looks like Daniel Folds and Queen rounds out the top 5. Gagnon's still holding tight in that 8th position. Polens well out of the top 10. It didn't look like that machine was going to go too far with the front end out of whack like it was. We're coming to 2 laps to go. There's Polens. He's very beat up. Looks like he's just going to try to finish this one out. We're on board Holmes. Ran top 3 in our last race. He's trying to do it again. It could be twice now, coming home 2nd. Looks like he's going to come up short as we take the white flag here. This is the American iRacing League Series brought to you by Swag Raps Online and Reaper Speed Labs. Coming to the line is going to be Parker Retzlaff winning once again at the Southern National Motorsports Park. Followed by Timmy Holmes in 2nd. Trayton Lapsevich. We'll catch up with those 3 in just a moment. Daniel Folds in 4th and Brennan Queen in 5th. That's your top 5 here. What a race. 60 laps flies by at this little bull ring oval. We'll be back in just a minute with our top 3. And we're back live here on Swag TV at the Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190, brought to you by Reaper Speed Labs and Swag Raps Online. Speaking of Reaper Speed Labs, we got one of their own, Trayton Lapsevich, here in that 32 car, survives that mayhem in the feature, gets all the way back up to third. I believe at one point you were caught up in a wreck, man. Tell us how you got back through.
Yeah, I started third there, worked up to second. Some bad luck on the restart. I'm not sure what was going on there. I think I hit from behind, and then they were going 3 wide, and yeah, it got shuffled back to 11th. But it sucks for the other guys. But there was some luck with that big wreck there. I was able to get back up.
I was fortunate to get that 32 car back up there. I know it was beat up, and I remember that restart. It seemed as though you got the jump on the outside, had the lead headed into one, and then Parker got in there to your inside. And after that, it was all mayhem, man. They got in the back of you, and it seemed like every car that got to your rear bumper had a target on that thing.
Yeah, it was pretty rough going back from there. I think I might have got hit 3 or 4 times there, and just trying to hold on to it.
Just holding on for dear life there, Trayton Lapsevich. And the damage to that 32 car ends up in third after winning last week. Man, unbelievable race for you. Got to uh, go ahead and thank your sponsors if you have any there, bud.
Yeah, I just gotta thank AiRL and you guys for broadcasting, put on a good league. Reaper Speed Lab, all the guys at BD Legacy Esports, and yeah.
Well, guys, that's Reaper Speed Labs driver Trayton Lapsevich. Check out their website. They sponsor the American iRacing League. Check out their website for some good setups. I've won a lot of races since running their stuff, so go ahead, go over there. But first, we'll get with second place. Once again, runner-up Timmy Holmes, man. Can't quite get that win, can you?
Yeah, no, another second place.
Oh, that's all right, man. Second place, you know, it's so you hate it as a driver. You get out, you're like, man, I did all that work to just come up short, but you're consistent, and it looks like you're bringing the car home in one piece, 2 races in a row. Are you running the super late models?
No, sir.
All right, buddy. Well, go ahead and thank your sponsors, and we'll catch up with you again next week here with American iRacing League. Good run tonight.
Oh, yeah, I just gotta thank BC Workshop, Blake Cisneros, everybody that runs this with me, Jackson, Matthew Beeman, he wasn't able to make it tonight, but Caleb. Um, I want to thank GTR Simulators and y'all for doing the broadcast, and Tyler for putting it on.
Awesome. Get ready to head down to victory lane. Parker Retzlaff, once again, winner in the American iRacing League. Tell us how you did it, man. You got shuffled back a little bit, but you end up back out front once again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like everything was going smooth, and then we just had that really bad restart, and everyone got stacked up on the top, and I got doored, and then I just got drove through into 3, and then I just had to battle back from I think third or fourth to get back to the lead.
Well, from the booth, it was exciting. I'm sure from the cockpit, not so exciting, trying to hang on to that thing, but you still come out on top even after starting on the outside. That says a lot. Not a lot of drivers able to make that outside work. You tell us a little bit about Southern National, how you have to run this place to be fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about running.
More plans coming up in 2021 for your outside iRacing career?
We're just seeing what we can do with the ARCA stuff and whatever else happens, but hopefully we end up doing full-time ARCA this year.
That's awesome, man. We wish you the best of luck. Always love racing with you. Unfortunately, I'm normally staring at your back bumper from afar, but we love having you a part of the American iRacing League. If you got any sponsors, go ahead and thank them, buddy.
I gotta thank Ponzi, EcoTrax, Iron Horse Loggers, the Log Load for Kids, Strike Force Energy, and Zamp, and you guys for putting this whole thing on, and Tyler for running this really nice league.
Awesome. That's Parker Retzlaff, our winner. I forgot to ask you, Parker, if you're still there, let us know. Are you running the super lates tonight?
No, I'm not.
That's no to Parker Retzlaff. That's a shame because we love seeing him race, but I'm sure we'll see him back more with American iRacing League. We got the super late models coming up next. We'll be back in just a moment. Guys, we're back here live at Southern National Motorsports Park on Swag TV. It's brought to you by Everything iRacing. Find them on Facebook. You can find just about anything. You can also find the Logitech G27. I'm trying to sell like crazy on their page. But anyway, I got a lot of hits just because of posting it on there. Unfortunately, nobody likes my price. But anyway, got to check out their page on Facebook. We're back live with the Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190. We only got 100 laps left with the Super Late Model Series coming up in just a moment. We ride on board with our own Eric Steele. Got to tell us what it's like getting around this little bull ring at Southern National.
Well, man, I've got a lot of laps at Southern National here tonight between practicing with the Legends and the Late Model and now the Super Late Model. And this open setup stuff's a tough trick. If you're just a slight bit off, you're way off the pace, and that's what we're struggling with right now. The balance of the car is good. It's driving all right, but she's lacking the speed that these big dogs got at the front.
Well, you know, I know for a fact these guys, especially the top three here in our session, are on the sim daily for upwards of 10, 15 races, but they also put in hours and hours and hours of practice with other teammates that are doing the same. So it's hard to keep up with that experience. It's part of the professional side of iRacing that we get to see here in the American iRacing League with guys like McCollum and Matthews that run so well every week. You think, they got to be doing something just like real life, right? The guy that's beating us is cheating. But no, these guys just work really, really hard to get those cars up front. As you see, Eric Steele, he's not a weekly competitor in the Supers. He tries to be there when he can be, and he makes his own setups, or we've worked together actually on a few setups. So you can see, you know, it's a little tough getting going against this kind of stout field. But Eric, man, you're doing pretty good. I'm watching your laps here. You're super smooth. You get down there. You get that left front down on that white line. That seems to be the key. Am I right?
Oh, no, for sure. We're definitely several laps deep on this set of tires, simulating a long-distance run. And keeping the laps tight and consistent is probably more important at this point than being fast overall. You got to be there at the end, and the smoothest way to the end is just like this, as we missed the corner.
Well, we're watching you from the above angle. We watched every lap where you were hitting that left front on the white line. Now we're watching you from the overview. You got a little car on the bottom there. Trayton Lapsevich pulling on the track in that Reaper Speed Labs car. Got 232s fighting for the racetrack right now in practice, but Eric's having fun out here. He's just going to be practicing, but he's our race director tonight. It seems as though you have a lot to deal with so far in these three races.
Oh, my Lord, it's been the night of nights for sure. Lots of cautions, lots of conflict, lots of heated racers, but you know, the group will be back next week with a
Something going on with Eric's mic. Check your connections there, buddy. Just like the car, got to check the radio connections, but lost Eric there for a minute. I'm sure he'll be back with us in just a second. But Eric's out here running his tail off, trying to keep up with these guys. We got a lot of good talent through the field. Once again, our regulars here in the Super Late Model Series, Alex McCollum, not only is he undefeated, I'm pretty sure he hasn't missed a lead lap. He's led every lap so far this season. And if you don't know, we're on week 4. This is round 4. That's pretty incredible. We'll see if he can do it again here in the Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190. It's 100 laps, but I can tell you this, if you don't have a good race car here at Southern National, you're not going to compete well. It's not a track. I mean, it's definitely, you know, you got to be a heck of a driver, but when it comes to the simulation, you got to have that car on point or you're not going to win the race. It's all got to come together for you. You got to survive the cautions. As we see, the Reaper Speed Lab driver, Trayton Lapsevich, he's been very dominant in the fixed setups in the late models, but he's just been on edge lately in the Supers. He's been working around the clock as he turns Eric Steele there in practice. Don't believe that was on purpose. Just tagged his left rear a little bit, but, you know, it's just practice. A little bit of fun, turn a guy here and there, but we go back to Blake Neer here in that 14 machine. Pure white on that car. Kind of reminds me of that Chase Elliott snowball car. He's got 519 asphalt on the side of the car, I believe. Is that sponsor? He's going so fast, it's a little bit tough to read. But yes, that 14 car, he goes and runs a Q lap. He's sitting in that 4th position. Blake Neer is one of our regulars in the series. I'm going to do some highlights on some of these drivers here. Right now, your guy, Alex McCollum, he's actually from the New Jersey area. He comes from Phillipsburg, New Jersey. I wonder if he enjoys the pizza up there as much as I do. We've raced together actually in the Legends cars. He's a very talented kid. He raced down there at Tri-County when I was there, but he races all over the East Coast in his Legends car. Find him in the 51 car in real life. Also, as you can see him, he's in 09 here on iRacing. Also, we got Thomas Axum in at number 13. He's sitting in second. He's a regular in all 3 series so far. His sponsors, Beniers Liquors, Frank Goodrow Designs, and Ryan Kuhn Motorsports. He just likes to have fun on iRacing and take what he can get. He is the 2020 iRacing Fixed Snowball Derby champion. That's a heck of a race to have on your resume. He's also the Fall Brawl Modified 100 champion and current SARA contender champion. His favorite food and favorite pet, well, he doesn't have a favorite pet apparently, unless chicken parm is an animal, because that's his favorite food. And it's under the favorite animal category. I gotta love it. He's a chicken parm kind of guy. So am I, man. Gotta love it. That's Thomas Axum in that 13 car. Had to catch up, man. Ryan Matthews is another one. He's a champion at Langley Speedway. He's getting ready to move up into the Virginia Racing Series up at the Dominion Raceway and Langley Speedway. I'm going to get with some of his details here in just a moment. As we're running around here at Southern National, he's in 3rd position, just about a 10th under McCollum. McCollum is just on rails lately. I'm sure he's just hoping to get up there and compete with Alex this week. It's been tough going, tough sledding for anybody in this super late model series. Ryan Matthews sponsors. He's got S&M Automotive Service on board that machine, and I'm assuming this is the same Pemilton as Landon Pemilton, who normally races with us, but Pemilton Forest Products, they ride along that 51M. Then James River Nurseries and Denise Matthews Real Estate. But he's also got BC Workshop on the hood of that car. Those guys help him with the setups. He's a team with BC and Blake Ciceronis over there. Good to have them a part of the American iRacing League. But that's Ryan Matthews, his real-life accomplishments. He claims he's a washed-up Legends car driver. I guess he is, since he's no longer in it, but I can tell you this, he's won a lot of races. He's competed against Tommy Jackson, who has also won tons and tons of races. It's hard to compete against a guy like Tommy, who's got the experience he has in that 87 car locally. So shout out to Tommy. He's actually a great racer. We'd love to get him on the service on iRacing one of these days. It'd be pretty cool to have him out here. But yeah, those two have a rivalry, but they've been a lot of fun to watch over the last few years at Dominion and Langley if you ever make it out there. His iRacing accomplishments include that he's an 8-time SARA Super Late Model Series winner. He's the 2020 Cars Tour eSport Super Late Model Champion and a 2021 SARA All-Star Clash winner. You can find his website at ryanmatthewsracing.com. His favorite food and animal is cheeseburgers, and he loves his dogs. So check out ryanmatthewsracing.com. You can find him on Facebook. He's a good guy. He also streams. I believe he does it on Facebook and Twitch. He's very quiet, very focused, but I just love the determination you see in a kid's eyes. I met him at Langley. Immediately, his father and himself, I could tell they kind of, I wanted to help them out with setups, but they seem to have it a lot more figured out. I went up to them, approached them saying, hey, come on down to North Carolina, come race with the big dogs. Well, they proved they can beat anybody just on their own with dad and son there kicking butt at the racetrack, reminding me of my father and I back through my years from 06 to 09 in the Legends car division. Some of the most fun you can have in racing is those Legends cars. Cars are sliding sideways all over the place. A lot of fun to watch. Once again, we're practicing here in the Everything iRacing Super Late models. Right now, we're on board Dustin Monberquet. We'll see if we can catch up with some stuff on him. See if we can get some details. We got a lot of good guys. They spend a lot of time on the service, and they also spend a lot of time in real life turning wrenches on their own cars. It's interesting to see who we got that all races in the real world. But we'll catch up with Dustin Monberquet's information here. Right now, actually, he is always found in that number 16 machine. His sponsors include Spotakosh, Speed Lab, Shaw Motorsports, Paul's Auto Body, auto trim design of Barry and LeDuc Matthews Racing. A big part of that LeDuc Matthews Racing team. I know he works alongside those guys, and I know he's a prime competitor here in the super late models in all of our top 3 divisions. Real life racing accomplishments include the 2019 Superstock Canadian Short Track Nationals pole sitter. His current real life racing series, you can find him in the limited late model tour. But his focus on iRacing is try to be a winner and be competitive in the AiRL and the SARA Contender Series. His favorite food is peanut butter, and favorite animal is his dog named Champ. Gotta love it. But Dustin Momberquet, one of our guys you can see here every week, he's not too happy with that car right now, sitting in 8th, just behind Landon Huffman, who's another guy. You can find him on Twitch. Very talented iRacer. Landon Huffman's been around the block several times. Huffman drives that 75 car. Gotta love watching him. He's only 2/10 off of our current practice leader. That's how tight this field is. All the way back to 7th, they're only 2/10 off. Once again, guys, we're here celebrating the life of Mike Hess and Mike Hess Racing. His grandson, Joel Smith, is a part of our Legends car series. He's newer to iRacing the last few years. He's a very talented kid. Races Bandoleros in real life. Great kid. Mike Hess was a great guy, very resourceful. He loves his outdoors. Apparently, he was an avid deer hunter that loved both bow and gun hunting, watching nature from his tree stands. But his most cherished things in life were spending time with his 2 grandsons. It was life-changing for him when he became a pappy. So that's a shout-out to Michael Hess. Gotta love the fact that we got Mike Hess honoring him tonight and his illustrious racing career. He was a he was a quarter-mile drag guy. He raced in his Pontiac. He's one of the fastest guys in all of America when he was running. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool story Mike Hess was. Got to celebrate the life, and got to love the fact that Joel Smith is going to continue the motorsports blood in the family, racing not only on the service here in iRacing, but in the Bandoleros in real life. Look for him to succeed and continue to grow as a driver. You know, we get to work with him alongside each other and practice with him all the time. And, I don't take a lot of credit. The kid's got a lot of natural ability, at least when it comes to iRacing. He's got a lot of natural ability, so... haven't had to help him too much. Just make sure he keeps a level head out there, and he's a very smart racer. He's young, and it's normally hard to teach a kid to keep the nose on the car and to look past the hood pins, keep from knocking the fenders off of it, costing dad a bunch of money over there. So kid's already got that. He's got half of it figured out. So I look forward to hearing more from him. Again, celebrating Mike Hess here. Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190. Gotta love it. We're on board again. Alex McCollum in that 09 Racing Shop machine. He's been unbeatable so far this year. Ryan Matthews comes out and runs a 13.468, and then McCollum turns around and pops off a 429. So Matthews thought he was in reach, and then once again, McCollum runs a quicker lap. The entire top 8 within 0.2 of a second. Brandon Queen, who's not a regular in the series, once again struggling a little bit with the handling of that car. We'll just have to keep an eye on him in that old school Racing Games machine. That's just like his car in real life. Pretty cool pixelated numbers he's got as he turns it in. The fence must either not be happy with the setup or said, I don't want to hit the brakes. Just let me start over with a new car. Momberquet in the fence. 32 Reaper Speed Lab car. We'll be going racing here in just a moment. Of course, they got to qualify before that. But we're just killing some time here. Got some good practice going on till about 9:10, which is 1 minute away. And we'll be going qualifying here. There's Blake Neer going back out for one last lap. Heats the tires and the brakes and gets her going. Blake Neer swings the outside. Something you can do on iRacing. Swing that car high, wide, and handsome through 3 and 4. Get the momentum up and head into 1 for me. I don't like doing it at a track like Southern National because you do not want to miss the bottom of the racetrack. As you've seen, the 14 did there when he seen Landon Huffman about ran in the rear bumper of him, but Neer still in the top 4. There's Huffman there on a hot lap, that 75 Academy car. He's going to bring it down slow. Actually, he's shooting for another fast lap on his second lap. At 75 heads into 1. The key is get that left front on the white line. The problem is that white line is so hesitant on iRacing, it's hard to tell if you're going to hit the white line or the apron. I'm going to have to beg Mike Diaz to paint the line at the track just so we can see it on iRacing, but I know we can see it just as fine. Southern National, Mike Diaz, great guy. You know, he's one of the coolest tracks you can ever go to is Kinley, North Carolina, right here, Southern National Motorsports Park. As a driver, amazing. As a fan, even better. The racing they put on is incredible. But what's amazing is Mike Diaz's unique personality and unique ways to get the drivers to come to the track. You know, Kinley is kind of out in the middle of nowhere, not really near any racing hub or anything like that. But he continues to get lots of cars to come by there because he's smart. He works with the tire companies and the sponsors locally to get his racers it out wide. Comes to the line to start lap 1. Matthews heads into 1 and 2. He paints that white line with the left front right where you want to be. He gets up there just inches off the wall into 3 and 4. Matthews going to come to the line as our first driver, and actually he stops that race car, so something you can do. If you don't like that first lap, click the reset button, run a second lap, kind of like turning around and running another lap. I guess Matthews didn't quite like that machine. So Huffman now, he's going to go out for his lap. Huffman busting out, going into turn 1 for the green flag. Once again, down on, keeps that left front on that white line. Very consistent. He diamonds through 3 and 4. He's going to take both laps here, it looks like. Huffman on your pole so far with a 13.529. That is good for first fastest, our only qualifier thus far. That was good for 3rd or 4th in practice, so I'm sure he's going to have a good qualifying spot. Huffman backs it up with a 5.29. Now, once again, we're on board Matthews, who's heating the tires up. Down the backstretch, takes the green flag, heads down that hill. He's only got 1 lap left on his Q run after taking the reset option that iRacing gives you. And the only thing is, if you had a great lap going that first time and you gave it up, you're going to be mad at yourself this one. It looks like Matthews, let's see what he's going to bust out. As we load up here, it's showing him as a tie. We'll just have to see. It's stacked. We'll find out what Matthews' time was in just a moment. Well, only 2 qualifiers thus far. We'll get our overlay straightened out. Just saying, just a little glitch inside of iRacing, not keeping up with the overlay. Sure enough, there it is. Matthews is on the pole right now with a 13.468. He backed up exactly his practice run. He can't be that mad about it, as now we ride along the 13 car, Thomas Axum. Derek Nickel already qualified. He's got a 13.841 sitting in 3rd. Axum trying to get the pole here. He runs a great line through 3 and 4. It depends on how much speed that machine has. Thought he jumped to the top, but not quite. He sits 2nd with a 13.412, and McCollum busts out a 13.404, just barely good enough for the pole. If someone beats out McCollum for the pole, and they can hold on for 1 lap, that'll be 1 lap more than anybody has led all season other than Alex McCollum. Blake Neer just completes his lap there, runs a 13.678. He's not going to be happy he didn't back up his practice lap from earlier. The 16, Dustin Momberquet lines it up through 3 and 4, heads down the hill to take the green flag. We should be running out of qualifying time here in just a minute. These racers got to get in a lap if they're going to get it in. We only had 6 of the 9 qualify so far. Lapsevich just tuned in a lap at 13.624. He's not going to be happy with that lap. As Momberquet puts in a 6.19. That's the 8 cars, I believe, that are going to qualify tonight. Eric Steele was one of the cars practicing. I believe we'll have 8 cars starting the show. We'd love to have some more jump in the super late models. There's a lot of money on the line for these guys at the end of the season. We're hoping to have a bigger field. Had a bigger field last season, but I believe with everything going on with the open sets, these guys getting so good with the open sets that the AiRL may make some changes going into season 3. you know, seeing guys dominate. Everybody wants to see the close racing action. We'll have to put the pressure on Tyler Payne to see what he's going to do about it next season. Either that or put up some more money. We'll have to find somebody. If somebody can knock off Alex McCollum, that's saying a lot. McCollum has been unreal through the American iRacing League, and we'll be back in just a moment as qualifying concludes. We're back live at Southern National Motorsports Park for the Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190 on Swag TV. This race is brought to you by Everything iRacing. You can find them on Facebook. Gotta check it out. Great page to get your iRacing equipment, and anything racing related too is on there. Also, Team 126 Racing and ComServe Wireless. Check out ComServeWireless.com for your Verizon needs. They pretty much have anything you can get when it comes to the Verizon stuff. They give great service. They got locations. They have 27 locations all over the Virginia, Northern Virginia area and the Eastern Virginia area, especially near Hampton and Langley area. Great partners. Love to have them on board. Got studio displays that help Swag TV bring this to you live. And Swag Wraps Online and Reaper Speed Labs is who presents the American iRacing League Series. We got now, as they line them up, Alex McCollum, your pole sitter, followed by Thomas Axum, just a 100th off McCollum, barely as close as anybody's been to outrunning that 09 car. Ryan Matthews in third, Landon Huffman fourth, Dustin Monberquet in fifth, sixth, Drayton Lapsevich in that Reaper Speed Labs machine, Blake Neer in seventh, Derek Nickel in eighth, and Brandon Queen elected not to qualify. He'll be starting in your ninth position. Big surprise from Brennan, but, you know, he's smart. He's probably just trying to stay out of the early madness. Last week we went all 100 laps green flag. We'll just have to see if we have any Team 126 racing cautions in this event. Now, if you guys are just tuning in, we do only have 9 cars. We do accept new applicants to the American iRacing League. You got to check them out on the Facebook page. These guys are racing for cash. The biggest thing you got to understand is the competition is thick. It's nearly this entire field is in the 7,000 I rating range, so it does turn some of the more amateur side or the less, you know, experienced drivers away from the series, because these guys are unbelievable. But if you want to race the best, you got to be in an American iRacing League. As we go green flag, McCollum in your restart zone takes off at the green flag. Axum to your outside. Axum on that right rear, almost tags him. He's trying to squeeze that 51 down to Ryan Matthews. He's got the spot. Axum into your second position. The BC Workshop machine of Ryan Matthews following him in third as they race all the way back. Huffman to the outside of Dustin Monberquet, but Huffman gets loose, tags the right rear, and then bad luck. I can't see who that is. Looks like Derek Nickel catches the side of that car, but we have no yellow flag here at Southern National Motorsports Park because no car got turned completely around backwards. Now the field separates. That's going to be interesting. Typically, when you see the field get separated this early, we don't have a lot of green flags. Right now, Axum trying to keep the tires under that car here early. He's going to give a run for the money to Alex McCollum. We're hoping McCollum, been amazing to watch how dominant he is, but it'd be nice to see that 13 machine can get up there and race him good. We get the yellow flag flies here at Southern National Motorsports Park. Team 126 Racing caution. We'll go back, check that replay out. I believe they're going to bring it back together as Derek Nickel ran in. Oh, he smoked the left front on that 75 car. That's going to hurt the toe of that 18 machine pretty bad, as Derek Nickel was already having problems handling. I'm sure this is not going to help him out too much. Right now, McCollum's still your leader. We'll just have to see if Matthews or Axum, who have been dominant in all of three of the iron race, been unreal so far. Any super late model. If you're just tuning in, check us out, Swag TV, Swag Simulation World Auto Group on Facebook. Got to follow. There, you hear our broadcasting career, and we're already bringing a live action to you from the American iRacing League, and also on Tuesdays the studio displays dirt late model tours. We go green again. McCollum gets to jump. Matthews trying to follow suit. There on the bottom of Thomas Axum. Axum squeezes the door down on that 51, trying to kill the momentum, but it's not going to do anything for him as they get together behind him. Huffman tags the wall, hits the 16 machine, and now Axum around. Axum goes around. I'm not sure if that was off the front bumper, and he staves it somehow. Axum, the last time I seen him hit that 13 was headed down pit road. He was so sideways, and somehow he follows back in the sixth, actually the fifth position. He stays in the top 5 after that. What a save by that 13 car. McCollum out front. Survival of the fittest here. Southern National so far, a couple cars getting together here early. Huffman had gotten into the wall a couple times, but Lapsevich finding his way into the top 3. I know he's been working his butt off to try to get that 32 car where it needs to be to beat McCollum. Just hasn't hit on what McCollum's doing just yet. He's going to let that 14 car go. Looks like Lapsevich got a little right front damage there and now he's got a little left front damage too. So he's banged up already early in this race. He's going to have a long 100 laps to go. Blake Neer sitting in your 3rd position. Just half a car length over Trayton Lapsevich. So far, a lot of good racing in the Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190. That's 190 laps total we've brought to you live on Swag TV. These guys are almost as fast as ComServe Wireless's support. You got to check them out. You can help you out with all your Verizon needs. 16 laps down. That's 16 more laps led on that 09 machine. Alex McCollum, he's undefeated in the lap count and in each race so far in American iRacing League. And you know, you might say that's something for a 7K iRating driver with already probably well over 1,000 wins. But this whole series probably combined has near 5,000 wins. So it's no joke for him to be dominating like he is, but Matthews trying to run him down. I'm not sure if McCollum is riding or if he is actually falling back to this 51 machine. We've seen this a couple times the last couple weeks where that 09 doesn't get out front too early in this race. See, last lap he runs a 9:26. Matthews, actually, they just came to the line dead even. 9:53 for both drivers. Now, I know Matthews, if anybody can get up there and race with Alex McCollum, it's going to be him. He can run consistent. It could be. Last lap, now they run a 9:59 and a 9:82. McCollum just a 100th quicker. As you can see, the field has stretched out more so than when it was in practice. We did have about a 10th. Actually, it's kind of come together on the time side of things because they're only within a 10th from first to last. All these guys built their own setups to come compete in this series compared to our other 2 series. The other 2 series are fixed setups, so they're dead even across the board. These ones we give a little leeway and let the guys get creative. As you see, McCollum running away with this thing right now, still running 9:85, just 100th quicker than Matthews. Once again, Matthews right on his coattails. We're keeping an eye on this battle here. Now, I'm not sure, we couldn't get the replay on it, but I believe when the 13 went sideways earlier, that was off the front bumper of Lapsevich. If not, Lapsevich was just behind him. I'm sure we're going to find out if that was the case or not, because the 13 working on the 32 machine now. 13 starting to peek to the inside, but he's not quite there yet. Axum working on the back bumper of Lapsevich here at Southern National. And a bumper to the 32 already from the 13. That was just a light tap, just letting him know he's there. I'm going to say each time that tap's going to get a little more aggressive. If you guys want to race some of the best in the business, seriously, go to American iRacing League on the Facebook page. For example, American iRacing League paid out over $1,000 to the winner in the Winter Nationals, but altogether was well over $2,000 in winnings. They don't keep anything other than what they need to make the broadcast happen and to make the actual races happen. That's it. So all the entrants, all their money goes towards cash prizes. As we see Axum working on the 32 machine, looks like he's to the inside. He gets to the bottom of the 32 car. He never had to touch him. Lapsevich is not going to go down easy, as now he sees a whole row behind him. 13 pushes up, gets that right front in the door panel of the 32, which several have done already to that 32 car. He's just not having the night he was looking for. Now Momberquet falls into the clutches, and the 32 is just falling back like a rock. I know Lapsevich has been working his tail off behind the scenes to try to get a good run, but that car is way too torn up to really do anything with it. As he catches the wall once again, Huffman completes the pass, and Lapsevich calls it quits and hammers the inside wall by accident. His night is most likely over for that Reaper Speed Labs machine, not the night he wanted to have. We'll get back with our leader, McCollum. Matthews still in sight, which is a rarity. He actually was fastest last lap. The tires do wear a lot harder on the rears on this racing surface here at Southern National. Start losing that forward bite, the rear end starts sliding around. So it's going to come down to who can keep the right rear together the longest. Matthews about 0.6 of a second back, and then about 1.5 seconds all the way back to Blake Neer from that second position. It's a shame Thomas Axum got caught up in some stuff earlier. He looked like he was going to have something to get that Alex McCollum 09 car. But McCollum has been racking in the big bucks, and he's trying to get that big prize at the end of the year. He told us last week in his interview he's trying to get as many points as he possibly can, because he's going to miss the last week here. But the way he's racing, he may not need to run the last week to win the championship. Kind of reminiscent of NASCAR, the NASCAR Winston Cup points, the way they used to be. You take the full season points, add them up, and that's your champion. There's no playoffs, nothing like that involved, no reset. Whoever runs the best on every week is your champion. Of course, they got to race every week, as that 09 has so far. He's looking for 4 out of 4 races won so far. Still within 0.6 of a second is Ryan Matthews, who seems to enter in just a little more shallow on entry. When we get a second, I'll see if the broadcaster can hop on board of that 51. We'll get a few laps, see what it's like running behind the 09. We enter into 3 and 4. There he is once again, painting that white line on the bottom of the racetrack. Ryan Matthews just trying to get to that 09. He's been nothing short of incredible so far. Ryan Matthews, how consistent he is. What's crazy is McCollum's just a little bit better. Matthews started in that 3rd position, so he's moved up 1 spot. He's had to fight for it, but he's right there. You can see on board here how banked the racetrack is. I was mind blown the first time how tight these corners are. If you're looking right now at the back of that 09, you can barely see the back bumper of it, as the top of the windshield, that little black strip, that is on every late model stock car. It's not really an option to get it without it. When you're running here, you really can't see the straightaways until you're right here. You're almost on the straightaway before you can see the straightaway. So the wrecks come up fast, other cars come up fast. Sometimes you don't even see the wreck until that view is, you're able to kind of have that sight, down the whole straightaway. Next thing you know, you see there's 6-7 cars wrecked on the bottom of the racetrack, and you're heading right for them. And it just keeps happening. It goes through the whole field, and you got to rely on your spotter a lot down the straightaway. I couldn't believe it The first time I was there, I was like, man, you can't see nothing coming out of the turns until you're there. Right now, Matthews still trying to run him down. Quicker last lap. He's got a 3:49. He's about 4/100ths quicker this past lap. Now down to a 4:32, but he was dealing with some lap traffic there at Derek Nickel. McCollum ran 2 straight 38s, just staying consistent lap after lap. The guy is a machine, and then he runs a 33 to Matthews 34. So just as Matthews picks up speed, so does McCollum. It's like he sees what's coming. We're halfway here in everything iRacing Super Late Model Tour, 50 of 100 laps down. These guys, it's going to start getting to them here. Matthews has run all 3 races tonight and have 2 of them go green flag most of the way. Matthews has been working hard on that wheel. Now, most of these rigs have the force feedback like you do in real life, so you think they're not working hard, but they do have the force feedback, so they are working hard through this whole entire race. Unless they have the settings completely off, but most drivers like that realistic feel. By the end of it, you might have some arm pump coming to you. As we see, McCollum has a little bit of a bow on that right front. Seemed like he just scuffed the wall, nothing crazy. Typical leader to get up there and find out where the edge is, just skins the wall a little bit here on this local short track stuff. You like feeling it out. Get close. I used to like to do it at Old Dominion, come up off. I didn't mean to do it, but I knew I was in the zone when I came up after about 25 laps of leading the race. You skid that guardrail just a little bit. You go, that's the limit. You found it. And now let's run it every lap. Menifee used to say he'd be watching a flag stand and it'd be like a battle. Whoever was going to get closest to that outside wall, he'd be watching some laps. He was the flagman there. There was a little white line along the outside of the racetrack. He'd get up there and get a 1/4 of an inch off the wall. It's crazy what these guys can do at well over 130 miles an hour. These cars are a little wider, but a little lighter than our late model series earlier, with nearly 150 to 200 horsepower more than most of your late models. As the gap still sits at 6/10, Ryan Matthews is as fast as Alex McCollum is, which is rare to say, as McCollum actually is bottoming out down the straightaway. Very unique deal there. Seemed he had a little bit of a slow 3 and 4 there, as Matthews now pulls the 10th off of that gap. But still sits at a low 6 down the straightaways. McCollum just beautifully painting that white line. We got 40 laps to go here in the super late models. I've been begging Tyler Payne, we're going to have to get a sponsor for these super late models to you know, I had to talk to Everything iRacing, see if we can get a bounty on this man in that 09 car. Oh, as you can see, we got great supporters. They try to give them their money's worth. As Matthews now gets down to a 58, maybe we won't need the bounty because Matthews down now a 10th, just about a 10th of a second than where we were 3 or 4 laps ago. Matthews starts to reel him in. Matthews seemed to miss his entry there, though, through 1 and 2, gets loose and falls off 2/10 just as we get talking about it. We'll work our way through the field as we have kept up with Alex McCollum and Ryan Matthews, your leaders here, with 38 laps to go. We got in the 3rd position is Blake Neer in that 14 car. Got to thank him for coming out and showing he can run with the top 3's best in the business. Following him is Thomas Axum. We've seen him earlier. He had a shot. That's Derek Nickel in a lap car there, but here's the 13. The Bernier's Liquors 13 machine, that purple car. You can never miss it. Ryan Kuhn Motorsports on board that car. Thomas Axum sitting in 4th, 5.5 seconds back, is begging for a yellow to try to get up there and try to get in the top 3 so we can get a little interview with him afterwards on Swag TV. Then Landon Huffman battling for that 5th position. It's the only battle on the racetrack for position right now. As you can see, Dustin Momberquet not afraid to use the front bumper. It's already pretty used up as it is. He's on the tail end. He's trying to get into the top 5. Momberquet trying to keep the top 5 streak alive. He peeks it inside of Landon Huffman. We got 34 to go. We're going to stay here as that 16 works on the windshield deep in Academy 75 car. Momberquet gets to run off of 4. It's where you want to be, right there, coming up off of 4. about a half car width lower than the guy in front of you. And typically, you get a little more grip down there, more forward bite, and you get the launch up off, and you can make the move on the car in front of you. Momberquet hasn't found the sweet spot yet. He's faster than that windshield deep 75 car. Once again, check out Landon Huffman on Twitch. He's a lot of fun to watch and listen to. He's a good guy, too, from what I can tell. Seems like a good old boy. He's trying to hold on for dear life. Momberquet knocking on the door, though. Momberquet's got the forward bite up, off, and the turn 2 in that 16 car. You can see here as we ride on board, the 75 pushes out to the outside wall while the 16 machine just stays down low. Our gap is still the same with the leaders as we keep an eye on the battle for the top 5. 29 laps to go, plenty of time for Momberquet to make the move. Once again, Huffman's still running consistent here. We got the gyro, the onboard gyro. That was fun to watch. Get the turn with the banking there through each end and see what these drivers are dealing with banking wise. I have to look up. Southern National's got a lot of banking here. Amazing, as now Matthews actually within 0.5 of a second of our leader. He's gained 0.2 once again. At one point he was down in the 7/10 gap range. Now he's down at a 5.6 to a 5.9, or sorry, a 0.59. Matthews just trying to run consistent and steady. I would imagine McCollum is just in his zone right now, but you got to start looking in your mirror at some point. The experience McCollum has, maybe never, but you may be surprised. Ryan Matthews may have something for him by the end of this race. As we stay at McCollum, it's like he's hearing us talk on the broadcast. He stretches it out back to 0.6 of a second. You guys haven't been, once again, you got to go check out in Wilson County this speedway. Beautiful facility by Mike Diaz. He took it over years ago, painted the walls yellow, and it's just a beautiful track to be at. And I got to say, the amenities are great as a driver. There's air-conditioned lounge, so if you're a driver, get your car out there, get racing over there. I'm telling you, it's one of the most fun I've ever had. We love going back. Probably my 2 favorite tracks in real life, and actually we got a battle for 5th. Momberquet to the inside of Landon Huffman. Huffman's going to try to do a little bit of a crossover, I'd imagine, and he doesn't quite have enough to stay in front of the 16. Now, Derek Nickel, he's actually a lap down. Queen is further back in 7th, just trying to stay on the lead lap. It's impressive, 80 out of 100 laps down. It's been all but 1 yellow, pretty much green the whole way, so impressive that Queen, with the ill handling machine he's had, staying on the lead lap to a guy like McCollum is very tough. Now Huffman can see and maybe translate the line that Dustin Momberquet's been running to his 75 car, because he's starting to enter in a little bit lower and come off a little bit lower. It looks like the 75's not out of the top 5 just yet. He's trying to work back on that 16 machine. He's got a little bit of oomph up on that steering wheel, trying to stick with that 16 car, but that flat black car is just going to be too tough. He's starting to stretch the gap out as our leaders still stay 0.6 apart. This is the closest anybody's been to Alex McCollum all season long. Matthews has gone toe-to-toe with McCollum lap after lap, staying consistent, but it doesn't look like he's faster than McCollum. Here he was, but only about 0.02 of a second off of him. These guys are running so close, we could almost break it down to thousandths. Axum there running 59 last lap. He's been fast. He'd probably be up there if it wasn't for getting tied up earlier. He actually is the fastest car on the track last time by with a 54. Matthews now fastest 2 laps straight. A 5:19 to McCollum's 5:72. The heat is on McCollum. Now we haven't had anybody pressure McCollum here. late in a race all season long. We're going to have to see how he handles the pressure. Can he man up and hang on? Or will he fall in the clutches of that 51M? Almost identical laps, like I said, 2/1000ths of a second. 2/1000ths of a second separated them just a lap ago. Matthews quicker lap after lap here. He's starting to run down McCollum here late as we're getting into some lap traffic. Derek Nickel, I'm sure he'll move over, but still, he might catch him in the wrong spot. Still take a few tenths of a second off the lap time of Alex McCollum or Matthews. Going to depend on who gets by this traffic quick enough to be the winner of this race. 9 laps to go, and McCollum just catches him on entry. May be perfect timing. Really, both cars navigate the lap traffic well. Matthews seemed to navigate it just a tick better, but barely. He's now within 5/10 at the closest he's been all race. As a race fan, I'm sitting here, gotta be pulling for somebody to get up and run with McCollum. I love McCollum, and he's a great driver, but he's just been dominating. It'd be nice to see someone get up there and run door to door with him, but McCollum once again stretches out the gap to 6/10. Seems as though Matthews can put together 3 or 4 really good fast laps, and then McCollum busts out one crazy fast lap, and they go back to even. McCollum just staying consistent lap after lap, but he's going to be getting to some heavier lap traffic here with Brendan Queen. I'm sure Brendan wants to stay on this lead lap, especially since we're on coverage. He loves to perform for the fans. He's been running great all night long in the fixed setups, but they just missed the open setup tonight. You know, no fault really of the driver, because I've been in a lot of cars, and sometimes you can say you got the best machine out there. Other times you're like, man, it's the car. Tonight it's probably the car for Brendan Queen, Butterbean Queen, trying to stay on the lead lap here with 3 to go. Matthews within if he can get there, I promise you Matthews is not scared to use the front bumper. And McCollum's starting to feel the heat. It's down to 3/10. We got 2 laps to go. It could be this. Matthews running them down. The gap is at 4/10 of a second. Here, coming up off of 4, we got 1 to go. McCollum better not slip up, because if he does, Matthews will be there to capitalize. McCollum nails 1 and 2. They're within 3/10. It's looking like it's McCollum's race. He's going to come off of turn 4 in a 09 machine, finish out the Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190. Alex McCollum holds off Ryan Matthews at the end to win the 100-lap feature here on Swag TV. We'll be back in just a moment with our top 3. Some of the most exciting stuff comes from our interview, so make sure you stick with us. We're back live with our top 3 from the Mike Hess Racing Memorial on Facebook. Check them out. They're awesome. But I'm sitting with our third place competitor who was kicking himself in the butt because he had one of the fastest cars all night. We thought he was going to be a chance to win. And unfortunately, no yellows to bring him back in the action. Our third place finish for Thomas Axon. Let us know, what happened to get you mired back a little bit.
Yeah, just a bummer. I thought we had some speed to be up there. I wanted to break that McCollum streak, but just tight racing and got loose, fell back, and had to drive my way back. Closed the gap from 4th to 3rd. It was about 4 seconds. Closed that, and got to 3rd, and saw that gap was not closable in the amount of time I had. So we just took advantage and saw what we had for speed late in a run with the setup. And the only good thing about this was the lap times we were putting down late in this race.
Well, you looked really good after qualifying. It's the closest anybody had been in qualifying to beat McCollum out. And if you had gotten that pole and stayed out front, you'd be the first guy to lead a lap that wasn't named Alex McCollum all season. He's 4 for 4, and I don't know what it is, 400 laps now. Another almost green to checkered race. Only one yellow. You got to tell me, man, was it a little bit tough on the arms running that whole race there, trying to run back down the leaders?
I just wish that yellow didn't come out that first run. Well, I'm not good to start, but once I get 15, 20 laps in, the jets just come out and I start going. The yellow just pushed us back onto that incident. But yeah, one of these races, someone's got to beat McCollum. I thought this was going to be it. Me and Ryan Kuhn did some good testing this week. We just did this Q car tonight, and we felt really good going into it. And it showed definitely close to McCollum. I feel like if I started up front, definitely could have been a different outcome. It's a lot easier to lead one of these things than it is to ride behind someone. Hard track to pass at, but all in all, it's still a good race, good data for other races.
Well, Thomas is bummed out for running top 3 and, against some of iRacing's best. And, I don't blame him. He was super fast and he wanted to do a little more. But, Thomas, you've been a competitor every week. Should I call you Thomas or Tom? What do you prefer there, by the way? I never thought to ask.
Either or. You can call me Thomas. Doesn't matter.
There you go. Well, Thomas Axum, he's one of our regulars with the series. Hey, man, go ahead. Shout out to your sponsors when you get a second.
Thank you. Quick shout out to Ryan Kuhn. I had him up on the crew chief tonight. Helped me build this car. Makes them fast every single week. This is, I think, the 3rd week in a row where we show the speed that we have to be up front. Just can't quite close them, but we got a couple more tries to do it here. Shout out to the longtime sponsor, Peter Bernier. Watches every single race we do. Always on the car. Add some nice blue to every car I run. Shout out to you guys for taking time broadcasting it, letting everyone be able to see this. Shout out to Tyler Payne for all he does for the sim. And just the top 3 finishers. Shout out to these guys for keeping it clean every single week. It's a good group to be around, and it's fun.
Well, we're thankful to have you again with the American iRacing League. We look forward to having you next week. Thank you again, Thomas. We're going to head down to our second place finisher, but barely, and the man that's been the closest to Alex McCollum all season long, Ryan Matthews, man, it seemed like you were almost going to get him there at the end, but couldn't quite get there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we had a good piece tonight. We struggled a little bit at the beginning, just car being way too loose. That's just kind of how you got to have these things. So, so we lost a little bit of ground there. And I think McCollum pulled us about 6 or 7 tenths there. And we kind of stayed even, just like Langley. Me, McCollum, Axum, all pretty even at Langley. So that's kind of how it was again tonight. Me and McCollum stayed pretty even that whole run. And then, those last 10 laps, my car tightened up just a little bit and gave me a little bit more speed there. And I was able to close in down to 4 tenths, but, just not enough laps. I think if it was like 125 or 150, I would have been right on his bumper there and possibly could have passed him. But, as always, it was a fun race, even though we don't got the car count. It's still the best of the best in here, so it's always fun racing.
Well, we're hoping to get definitely some more cars to join in on this series. As I said again, it's one of the best in iRacing. Everybody through the field is stout, so it does turn a lot of the